Our next consideration is what if we don't, it is not e to the x. What if it is, let's just pick a number out of the blue sky, 5 to the x. So how do we handle that on our calculator? Well, that's straightforward. Suppose we want 5 raised to the, let's pick a number out of the sky, 5 raised to the 4th. All right? On the calculator, this key, on my calculator, it's this key in this location. You need to find that button on your machine, wherever it's located. This is the exponential key. It's the technical word is a caret, this diacritical mark. But if I wanted to raise, now let's do some work that we know for sure. We know if we raise 4 to the 2nd power, that should be 16. So if I take 4 raised to the power, do you see the symbol? Right, do we see the symbol? 4 raised to the power of 2. Well, this better give me 16. And sure enough, there it is. All right? So you type the base, then the exponential key, and then whatever you want the exponent to be. Notice that when I do, suppose I'm going to do now 5 raised to the 4th power. So 5 raised to the power. Notice that it has not opened parentheses. If you need parentheses, then you need to insert them on your own. All right? So here's what that means. If I want 5 raised to the 4th power, that's no problem. That's my 625. But suppose I want 5 raised to the power of 1/2. Now, what does that mean? That means the square root of 5. Now, we can compute this 2 ways. I want to do this 2 ways just to show you what there's a pitfall coming here. So 5 raised to the 1/2 power means the square root of 5. And we know, by using our handy-dandy square root key on the calculator, that if I want the square root of 5, that is 2.236. So this is approximately 2.236. So that's the square root of 5. All right? Now, suppose I want to compute this using the exponential key now. So I take 5, I want to raise it to the power of 1 divided by 2. And it should give me the 2.236. But watch what happens. If I take 5, raise it to the power, 1 divided by 2, I don't get 2.236. Do you see what's going to happen? You get 2.5. Do you see why that happened? The reason this occurred is because the calculator assumes that you know the order of operations. Or more to the point, the calculator assumes you've used the order of operations correctly. When the calculator sees this string of digits, or this string of operations to simplify, it recognizes this exponent, and then it recognizes division. So what the calculator does first is take 5, raise it to the 1st power to get 5. And then it takes that answer and divides it by 2 to get 2.5. If you want 5 raised to the 1/2 power, what you need to insert is 5 raised to the power, parenthesis 1 divided by 2. Then it's going to do this first and then raise 5 to the 1/2 power. This should give us the 2.236. Let's see if that works out. 5 raised to the power, open parenthesis, 1 divided by 2. And let's see if that gives us our value, 2.236. There it is. So be sure that when you use this exponential key, that if you want this to be in parenthesis, make sure that you write it with parenthesis. So 5 raised to the power parenthesis 1 divided by 2 does not mean the same thing as 5 raised to the power 1 divided by 2. So be very careful with the order of operations. Be very careful with this exponential operation. If you mean parenthesis, you should write parenthesis. And if you have exponential, e raised to the x, it opens, again, Do we see it opens the parenthesis for you? However, if I write, let's say I write 8.2 raised to the power, it does not open parenthesis, and so you need to be a little bit more cautious there. So there's my 8.2 raised to the 4th power.